A woman's body is ruled by her hormones. One moment you are sad, one moment you're anxious, one moment you're crying for nothing at all. Now imagine the hormone dip with pregnancy. Estrogen and progesterone is at its ultimate high. And in the moment you give birth, all this hormone immediately drops. If you don't strengthen the pelvic floor and etc., there's organ prolapse where you can feel like your organs are all hanging down. When I squatted, even on a chair, I couldn't get back up.
And this is you, who've trained for a long time. Imagine women who've not been training, and there are many out there.
Then you have postpartum depression.
This is all real. We know of cases where women have committed For a woman, having a child at 40, is it late?
Okay, in my opinion, it is late.
Why is that?
The reason I say in my opinion, I remember talking about this at some point on social media, okay? Where I just gave a piece of advice saying that it is always better to have babies much sooner. And that sooner could be sometime maybe early 30s or within 35. Of course, it's subject to so many things. But your body is really designed for this very differently. You're better off having a child early on than later because so many things change mentally, emotionally, and physically, right? You may not experience the whole pregnancy and childbirth the same way at 40 like you would at maybe 35 or 32 or 30. It's definitely a lot easier.
Fortunately, your pregnancy was peaceful, right? No like real issues and things.
I think my pregnancy was peaceful at 40 because of how I maintained myself 10 years leading up to that.
More than 10 years maybe.
Yeah, leading up to that, right? Like my lifestyle, the activity level, my fitness level, being conscious about your health. I think those factors led me to having a peaceful pregnancy and delivery. But, honestly, it is hard emotionally and mentally as you delay this.
Yeah.
But at a physical level, what all our bodies go through is pretty much the same. Mentally, everyone's pregnancy, post-birth journey can be very different emotionally and mentally, right? No one kind of prepares you, especially for post-birth.
And
nobody.
You sort of would learn a lot of things.
Yeah.
On the fly, it's going to happen and you're like,
on the fly.
What just happened?
100%. Nobody prepares the mom. Yeah. Nobody prepares the dad. Nobody prepares, right? It's a very personalized experience. But honestly, Rish, physically, right, what the body goes through cannot change too much from one woman to the other, from one new mother to the other, because our bodies are going to go through the same process inside.
Correct. Yes. But at the same time, some women would recover faster.
Correct.
And the others would take more time.
Correct.
Like, at least I know in your case, even in Asta's, but like in yours, I remember that you started strength training quite early.
Yeah.
After childbirth.
Yes.
And what makes that happen? Like, why are some people taking longer?
It all depends on what you've done the many years leading up to it, right? If you've been active, if you've taken good care of yourself, then bouncing back becomes easier. Having said that, also depends on the pregnancy complications.
Correct. Yeah.
Right? If it's been a tough pregnancy or a tough delivery, then you are going to take longer to come back.
Yeah.
But if all of that has been smooth, you can get back a lot more faster, which is why I'm saying that what happens with the body, won't differ drastically from one woman to the other. It really depends on
how you deal with it is going to be different.
Yeah,
how your body responds to that is going to be different.
Exactly. But the mental and emotional part of it can be different from mom to mom. Very, very different.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So from a health and fitness standpoint, what actually happens in a woman's body after childbirth?
I mean, I always reiterate on the hormones, right? A woman's body is ruled by her hormones, right? So upon pregnancy, estrogen and progesterone is at its ultimate high, right? And then the moment you deliver, give birth, your placenta comes out of the body along with the baby, and all this hormone immediately drops. There's a severe drop or dip in estrogen and progesterone. Now, of course, we all know when the hormone dip happens, a woman is going to be, you can say, I wouldn't say an emotional mess, but our emotions are going to be all over the place.
Will be.
Yeah. Now imagine the hormone dip with sleep deprivation is going to be ultimate recipe of
Yeah.
chaos. It's almost like you don't have control over a lot of those emotions. But then at one moment you are sad, one moment you're anxious, one moment you're crying for nothing at all, maybe over a burnt toast, one moment you're happy. So the emotions are like almost inexplicable. So no matter how much I would explain to someone who's becoming a new mom, it's the experience that's going to take her through it. But the reason is the hormone dip.
Okay.
Right? And it's going to take some time for all of those hormones
And you know what?
balance.
Right after childbirth, everyone's busy celebrating and, the child and almost forget about the mother.
Correct.
Because she's going through pain and she's going through emotional mess. She's going through hormonal mess.
Yeah.
And she just delivered a full human being who she carried for 9 months. Irrespective of the hormones, that's just like that feeling, emotions and everything. There will be too much up and down.
Correct. That is, again, like I said, that is more the emotional and the mental part of it, right? Like physically, because of this hormone dip, so many things go wrong. Right from your hair fall, which can actually cause a lot of trauma to a lot of us women, right? Skin, right? Your skin also doesn't feel the same anymore. And it's a combination of sleep deprivation also, right? And then your body itself is like changed. There's redistribution of everything that's happened. Suddenly your hips feel bigger. Okay, you probably haven't had like big hips, and now your hips feel bigger postpartum. Your belly is like all jiggly and soft, and you'll see those stretch marks which you're not used to. You're just not the same anymore, right? And it's very hard to suddenly accept this new body. Of course, some of us who understand that yes, you can bounce back. You'll allow the body to take that time, but otherwise, for a lot of people, look into the mirror and they're like, oh my God, who is this new person? Now you're going to be anxious about, will I ever bounce back? Will I not? Then there is other stuff like pelvic floor. Okay. Your pelvic floor has taken so much load from the uterus becoming bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
So when now your uterus is going to take some time to go back to its original size, it could be 8 weeks or it could be 12 weeks also, right? Now, when that process happens, you don't know, you're feeling like your pelvic floor is opened up. You feel like you can't control your pee. There's so many things that's happening.
Yeah.
And because not many people talk about it, a lot of new moms think it's kind of normal and they'll just
deal with it.
Yeah.
They almost live their life with it.
A lot of women have incontinence years and years after delivery, right?
Yeah.
And incontinence is nothing but weak pelvic floor.
Yes.
Right? And you cough and you feel like you want to pee.
Yes. You can't jump and
you can't jump. Exactly. And when you go back to workout, you suddenly realize like, why am I feeling like something's going to fall
and
off?
that's, I was actually telling Astha just as of this morning that trainers at last don't know how to work with women who have delivered a child ever. As in, I'm not even talking about immediately after childbirth.
Yeah.
If a woman comes to you for training 1 year after childbirth, 1.5 years after childbirth, 2 years after childbirth, but she's still a woman who has given birth to a child.
Correct.
You need to train her differently.
Correct.
You need to screen her differently.
Correct.
But our trainers don't know about things that we're talking about. They don't know about incontinence. They don't know that, pelvic floor needs to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
They'll start training you the way they would train me.
Exactly.
And that is the problem. That's
the
why
problem.
women
That's
get
a
hurt.
big problem. Yeah. And that's why even if you're like after a year, let's say your pelvic floor is probably about to get fixed, like it's all coming back.
And you start squatting.
And you start, lifting and squatting
Yeah.
and jumping. Chances are that it's just going to
Exactly.
lax again, right?
Correct.
So that reconnection, and we'll talk about it
Yes.
in how and why we need to focus on that rehab and reconnect, right? But pelvic floor is one aspect. Now you have the abdomen separation, right? Because the uterus becoming bigger and bigger separates the abdomen. And most of us don't even know that the abdomen separation can also be fixed. And we think that it's fine. It's that mommy pooch is very normal.
Yeah.
And I have to live with this, but you don't have to live with it. You can fix it. For a lot of us, it fully gets fixed. For a lot of us, it also fully doesn't fix, but it's in a good place. And if you continue not fixing it, chances of umbilical hernia will be high because you're always exposed. Your abdomen's always separated. So, some organs can start sticking out at a later point, as you start working out and doing heavier stuff. That can cause backache.
Correct.
Because your core is fully compromised, and then you want to get back to running, you want to get back to doing so many things, right? So at a physical level, there are so many things. Then there's something called the rib flare, right? Because after pregnancy, your ribs have all adjusted, right, for the growing baby. So your ribs kind of flare out. So you need to work on bringing it back into position. Right? So you have certain exercises for that. Otherwise, you'll always feel like it's flared out. Most people don't know how to identify rib flare.
Correct.
Right? It gets completely ignored, right? Then there's organ prolapse, right? Your organs, the uterus and all of that. If you don't strengthen the pelvic floor and etc., there's organ prolapse where you can feel like your organs are all hanging down. It's again not comfortable. It's something like your incontinence where you feel like any minute it'll just open out. So you have to again strengthen so that you don't have any prolapse issues. So there are a bunch of things that the body needs to work on to kind of recover, rehab and reconnect. Because I remember when I squatted on even on a chair, I couldn't get back up without support.
This is after?
Yeah.
How long after childbirth?
Immediately after, like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, I still couldn't
You
get
weren't
back
able to
up.
get off from a chair.
Exactly. When I sit down, I had to take support. When I get up, I had to take support. And I've never known what it's like to have a weak core until then, right? And that's what made me realize, I'm like, this is a deep problem.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't work through...
And this is you.
Rehab,
You've sort of squatted heavy all your life.
Exactly.
You've trained for a long time, but you found it hard to just get off a chair.
Yeah.
Imagine women who've not been training.
Yeah.
And there are many out there, right?
Yes. And then there is a difference between how you treat your rehab when you've had an abdominal delivery versus a vaginal delivery.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So again, it's not the same because in your abdominal delivery, you can actually go through a lot of pain because of the sutures and everything.
Yeah.
So scar tissue mobilization, nobody knows how to scar tissue mobilize.
No one tells them.
Yeah. So they always have this little thick skin protruding for the rest of their life.
Yes.
Right. So I think at a physical level, all of us post-birth go through similar changes, at least like 75-80%. Again, like I said, it depends on what complications you've had. That can make a change. But otherwise, at a physical level, all moms go through same amount of changes, and we need to work on rebuilding post.
Yeah.
And very, very, very critical. And your body has actually gone through a transformation.
Of course.
It's not just childbirth. It's a massive transformation. Correct. A lot of these things, Irish, when you don't address it and you still start feeling, body confidence and a lot of those things also leads to other issues, right? We talk about PPD, postpartum depression. We talk about baby blues, right? And again, there is a problem between understanding what is it that I'm going through. For example, baby blue is what almost everyone goes through, right?
Can you explain baby blues?
Yeah. So it's something that this emotional chaos that you experience immediately after childbirth, especially in the first 2 to 3 days leading up to a few weeks where you're trying to feed your child. The latching issue.
Yeah,
it's all the first time that's happening. You're not understanding how to get your baby to latch. And it's just so new that you're 1 minute, you're sad, 1 minute anxious, 1 minute crying. You're figuring it all out. Those are just baby blues, and it should not last beyond a few weeks, right? Because once you figured it, in a few weeks, you're then like, okay, fine, this is the order of things. But then you have postpartum depression, where it's again so hard to see it straight up and understand. But that is not temporary, right? It's not a temporary emotional crash. It is a medical condition.
Yes.
Which needs to be addressed. So one is it can start later and it can last longer. You know, the sadness, the feeling of anxiety, feeling of like, I don't know why I feel like crying. I don't want my baby and I want my baby. And I don't think I'm doing justice. I'm probably a bad mother. So many emotions that you go through. But if it kind of lasts very long and probably even start weeks later, months later, or even a year later.
Yeah.
Right? It's important for the mother to be able to kind of identify that something is off and seek help. And it's, I think, very important for the family members to be able to identify, especially the spouse or the father.
Which is why post-childbirth, as partners, we need to be a lot more considerate.
Exactly.
Observing things, because this is all real. I mean, we know of cases where women have committed suicide.
Yes.
Right? And that's all because of postpartum depression, which was never caught in the right time. A life could have been saved. And it's not just one life, it's your entire family, your child. So these things are super real. And it, like, at least the baby blues, like you said, it happens with everybody, but no one cares to really address it.
Nobody understands it. Yeah.
Does it happen with dads also?
Actually, it does. You know why? Because I remember Vivek going through a little bit of a emotional, and then it took me a while to kind of figure and understand that, you know, he's probably going through what most of us new moms go through.
I was a little bit of a mess after Angad was born, and it was like very similar things in terms of emotions and, you know, ups and downs, but not to the intensity at which a woman would feel, because there's a lot that's changed in your body also. But a lot of dads do go through it, especially the ones who believe in equal parenting and things, who are very vested into just doing things for the child. And it was a bit too crazy for me. But then 1 or 2 weeks and got a hang of it. But I read up about this, and this is actually a real thing. There's a term for it. It's called, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's called COVADE, COUVADE, which is basically baby blues in men.
It's very different what the mother and what the father are going through. I mean, no matter how vested you are in the situation, it's still very different at an emotional, mental, and a physical level. And I don't think, like, I remember Vivek really making the effort to give me that time to go work out, because he knew that was my safe space. Right? For me to get that 30-minute workout or movement in was like this feels
That's
good,
the anchor. That's your anchor.
Yeah, exactly. It gave me the adrenaline to like go through the rest of the day, taking care of the baby and whatever else needed. So he made the time, but I don't think I'll ever be able to understand what he went through in all of this. And he'll never be able to fully understand what my body went through and how much time it took for me to kind of rebuild and reconnect and figure it all out.
So what does return to fitness look like for women? Since we spoke so much about changes happening in the body, you spoke about pelvic floor, abdomen separation, your rib flare and organ prolapse, and a bunch of other things. How do they get back to fitness?
So we'll talk about this in like parts, right? But before that, I just wanted to start by saying a lot of us are very quick to start thinking and talking about fat loss post giving birth, right? Most of us want to, because you have gained some weight, if not too much. Some of us too much.
Quite a bit of weight. I mean, women do
like
gain.
5, 10, 15. It depends on how each one's pregnancy was, right? Was it active?
How
was
much weight did you gain?
10.
10 kgs.
Yeah. Some women I know have only gained 5, 6. Some of them with some complications actually lose a lot of weight also, right? Especially like I've noticed recently with gestational diabetes and etc. The way they eat and etc. They actually end up losing some weight. But then postnatal also, because we are feeding, we want to eat a little more, we want to drink a lot more. while breastfeeding actually helps you burn calories, but remember that doesn't mean you're going to lose a lot of weight with breastfeeding. Some of us do, right? But don't look at that as your way into, okay, the more I feed, the more I lose weight and all of that. It's just one part of it. But fat loss is something that will happen over a period of time, irrespective of breastfeeding. And my only advice to start off on getting back to fitness routine is, let's not think of weight loss and fat loss, at least for the first 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah. I would say it's okay.
But they're
And
all
honestly,
getting frustrated with how they look.
yes, I'm with them because I've been there, right? What is important is, for your mind especially, is getting some movement in. And we will talk about how to do that. But I'm just going to start by saying, don't prioritize fat loss and weight loss, because that will frustrate you further when it doesn't happen.
And you're going to have to manipulate calories,
manner.
which
Yes.
it shouldn't be the priority.
That should not be the priority, especially when you're like breastfeeding and stuff. That should be the last
you're
priority.
you're feeding another person.
Yeah, that should be the last priority, right? So I would say, hold on, give yourself 6 months, enjoy the whole process of, it's dramatic, right?
Motherhood.
Yeah, exactly. Just enjoy the process. And this is again coming from experience. I also started working on the whole fat loss, weight loss journey after like 5 to 6 months, because until then I only focused on rehabbing and slowly getting back. So in order, right? 0 to like say 3-4 weeks, you just focus on like trying to move around a little bit, get some walks inside the house,
get some sunlight, maybe
sunlight. Exactly. Yeah, some amount of movement is enough. 0 to like 2-3 weeks, even up to 4 weeks. If you just move around and do nothing, is absolutely okay.
Yeah.
And then after like, let's say 6 weeks, right? You do a check with your gynac to see what the status is. Like she'll check your uterus status and all of those things. But that's a very surface level checking, right? It's just your gynac to say that, okay, you're doing fine or you're not doing fine. Look at your stitches if you've had abdominal delivery. But I always tell the women, the new moms, after 6 to 8 weeks, 8 is good, go to a physiotherapist, right? And do a pelvic floor health check, do an abdomen separation health check, right? If you can check your rib flare. If you feel like it's flared out, you can do a rib flare check. Then you start a program.
So that's the kind of screening that should happen before you start anything which is close enough to exercise.
Correct. So 0 to 6 weeks or 0 to 8 weeks, just move around, walking in, all of those things, like you said, sunlight, etc. After like 6 to 8 weeks, do a full check with your gynac and with a physiotherapist, right? For all of these things that we mentioned. Then you pick a program that can help you rehabilitate, rebuild, reconnect with your body, right? Now, what can you choose? You can choose an online post-birth, postnatal, postpartum program, okay? Whatever you trust that can work for you. Because what an online program does for new moms is it gives them the freedom to kind of work out at their own pace. So that's the order, right? 0 to 8 weeks, walking and moving. 8 weeks onwards, after all the relevant checks, you start a good program, right? And that's also why we built Strong Mama. So in our program is also just a simple online program that focuses on all of this. So now in the rebuild, reconnect, rehabilitate, right? The focus has to be to first pelvic floor strengthening. Simultaneously or after you work on your core strengthening. So pelvic floor strengthening should be for everybody, irrespective of whether you have incontinence or not. Because your pelvic floor has taken a beating.
Correct.
Right? core strengthening has to be for everyone, irrespective of diastasis recti, abdomen separation or not.
Correct.
Just that when you have a diastasis recti or abdomen separation, there will be certain focused exercises that you would need to just bring it all back.
Yeah.
But those exercises will also work on strengthening the core irrespective, right? Rib flare exercises are optional. Organ prolapse exercises are optional. These are only if you identify that, there's a flare and you want to kind of close it down and stuff. But core strengthening and pelvic floor strengthening are non-negotiable. Like, these are two things that you just cannot ignore. And that becomes a very integral part of your rebuild, reconnect, rehabilitate program. Right? And that's exactly what our Strong Mama program on the Health Edit is made.
Yeah. You want to talk a little bit about that, the program, how you've built it, how many sessions, and how can one use it?
So the way our Strong Mama program on the Health Edit is built is that we first allow the new mom to identify what she has, right? In the sense, we're talking about going and seeing a physiotherapist, but we've also given the option of identifying on your own at home. So we tell them exactly what incontinence will feel like, and if they're actually having those symptoms, then they know that it is there, and they can of course double check. We also help them identify diastasis, exactly how to lie down and check which are the directions and stuff to see how much separation they have, right? That's in the video as well. And once you've identified, I would still say go to a physio, but if there's no way you can, then kind of do a self-check. So we have a tutorial on self-check.
Always better to meet a good physical therapist.
100%.
But if you don't have that option, and I think especially smaller cities, it's just the quality of physical therapists and everything is a bit questionable.
Correct.
And in that case, this can be very helpful.
Yes. So we've given full tutorial. We've also given a tutorial on rib flare and what it means to have a rib flare, right? So there are these tutorials. Now, let's say you have rib flare. We've given you exercises to do those, right? So these exercises you can kind of do thrice a week. You can repeat each session at least 3 times and then progress to the next, right? Because it takes some time for this new mom's new body to start understanding, those exercises as well, right? It's simple, but to just engage everything, to breathe correctly, it takes a while. So let's say you do not have any rib flare, so you don't have to do those. Then you directly go into pelvic floor section. Then you go to diastasis recti section. But I have insisted that everybody does each session at least 3 times. So let's say you do it on a Monday or a Wednesday or a Friday or a Tuesday or a Thursday or a Saturday. But the most important is to start off with diaphragmatic breathing, right? So we teach how to really do deep breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, and how to engage and brace that midline or midsection and core. And once you've learned how to do the diaphragmatic breathing, you incorporate that in all your pelvic floor and
that's what builds
core.
The connection
Correct.
between different parts of the body, because you sort of lost that connection over the last 1 year.
Yeah. So people have to pace it out, and I tell them that take about 3 months to finish everything. So you finish your pelvic floor strengthening, you finish your core strengthening, and then you move into overall strength. So in the strength segment, you're basically doing, again, you're not touching any dumbbells or anything. You're just going to do a lot of body weight, and you're going to do a lot of resistance band, the ball. Using all of those, you're building strength. And once you've completed this and you've taken about 3, worst case, even 4 months, it's okay, right? You feel good. You don't feel incontinence anymore, or you feel like your separation has closed a little bit. You want to step out into the real world and go to a gym and etc. Do it. Or I also say repeat everything again if you're willing to take on some more boredom. Because these sessions, let me warn everybody, are very boring. Right? You almost want to fall asleep, especially the diaphragmatic breathing. In reality, you should be practicing that breathing anyways. But even you and I don't do it. So, but it is boring, but trust me, this boring will help you recover and then last longer and perform better.
Exactly.
Because I remember doing this, using physical therapist help. And then I did my own course as well while I was going through all this. So it took me a little time before I could also understand how to kind of reconnect and rebuild, because it was my first as well, right? We're just used to doing heavy duty strength and conditioning workouts, and all of this slowing down was very hard.
Correct.
Just to do slow stuff. And then I started picking up weights, light weights, medium, heavy weights. Then I started working on, proper nutrition for fat loss. And then it took me 1 full year to lose my 10 kilos. Honestly, I would say give it 6 months, do this rebuild, reconnect. And after 6 months, start going to the gym, start with light weights or get a personal coach.
Exactly.
Best.
So you're saying it took you from childbirth 12 more months to lose 10 kgs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Easily. Yeah.
1 full year to lose 10 kgs for you.
Yeah. Because I did it slow. I didn't rush into it.
Which is good.
Yeah.
And that's why you are able to do things that you're doing right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Because you didn't go too far too soon. And also in your case, you've had a history of training very hard and very consistently. And you took it slow. You qualified for High Rocks World Championship and you're training twice in a day. And I know that you're training very hard. I know what your run pace is, what your strength looks like.
Yeah.
I think you're able to do that after having a child at 40. You're able to do all of that is obviously because of the past training, the training age, but also because you didn't just push too far too soon.
Correct.
And I think that should be one takeaway for women who are watching this, that take your time.
Take your time.
Everyone's body is different. Everyone's fitness journey is different. Everyone's motherhood journey is different. Yes. So just take your time. Just don't fall for the transformation stories post childbirth on social media. Don't fall for that.
Yes.
Just, do what works for you the best and think long term.
Yeah. Because this itself is a transformation.
This is a huge transformation.
So wait for your next transformation.
Exactly. Correct.
Right? This transformation is just something, weight loss transformation you're prepared for.
Yeah.
You know what you want to look like, be like, feel like. But this transformation, nobody prepares you for.
No one can prepare you for it, because your sleep also is going to be a mess. Not just for few months after childbirth, it is going to be a mess for a long time. Could be longer for some people, right? Because you're co-sleeping and it's not the same anymore.
Absolutely.
So your sleep is going to be a mess.
And we know what happens when sleep is a mess, right?
Correct.
Your whole journey of fat loss and everything gets compromised, which is why I say don't focus on the fat loss.
Exactly. And a lot of things change, right? Like simple things. For a mother, the child won't let her go to the washroom, because there is separation anxiety or won't let you have your coffee in peace. That moment of peace that you sort of looked forward to all your life, you don't have that anymore.
Correct.
So all those things are changing. And then to worry about fat loss immediately after childbirth, I think that's the last thing you want to do.
Absolutely.
So take it slow, take it at your own pace.
Yeah, absolutely. And with our program, I mean, we give you a complete end-to-end guide on getting back to fitness, right? There's also help on nutrition.
Yes.
Right. And and there's going to be a lot of constant support in case somebody, needs that support through our emails and all of those things. So you, of course, can do any online program you need postnatal, but we have a program. Yeah. So if you're actually listening and watching and you're keen on this program, we've given everything in the description. And feel free to ask us any questions about the program before you even purchase it. But yeah, it's a very holistic program. Try it out and trust me, you'll absolutely love it and you'll come back stronger than before. Yeah. Because personally, Rish, if you ask me, I am stronger and faster post-birth, post a child than I was.
I know. I've trained with you before. I've trained with you after.
So it's amazing what this human body can do if you give it the right amount of everything, right?
Yeah.
The sleep, the nutrition, the correct recipe of workout.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, I can vouch for it. In your case, I've seen we've trained for a long time together before. We did one High Rocks together
Yeah,
and we'll
together.
do more. We've trained together a few times off late, and I know that you are a different level of beast right now.
Yeah, and I don't know where it's coming from, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you also watch all these sub-2 marathoners, you're like, wow. But then you know that these things are possible.
Yeah.
The human body is so beautiful and it can evolve so well if you train it correctly. So just don't be in a rush to do anything.
A lot of it is also mind.
Yeah, of course.
It's the mind
100%.
that
That's a
restricts you.
different story. Yeah.
It's the mind that tells you, no, this is not possible.
Correct.
I mean, sub-2 marathon, I feel they're from a different galaxy.
Yeah. No, mamas, don't worry about that. But you can bounce back. And the last thing I want to say is, remember the transformation that has happened to you physically, mentally, and emotionally. I won't talk about because it's very different experience to each one of us. My body is definitely not the same. Although, only I can probably see it and nobody else can. It took me a little while to also embrace it and say, it's okay. I'm fine to live in this body, but I just want to be comfortable. And to be comfortable, you need to be strong. Right?
What do you mean by your body is not the same? Do you mean body composition?
Yeah, no, not body composition from a fat muscle standpoint, but the shape of my body is different from what it was before. Right? And that redistribution happens post-birth. Some of us bounce back beautifully like before, but some of us have a little bit of redistribution of whatever, and I think it's okay.
Yeah.
But it takes some time to accept it. That's why I said only I can see it. Not everybody can see it. And I can see it more when I look at my old photos to now and all of that. But like I was saying earlier, that I feel so amazing just to be stronger than before. Of course, I've maintained a good body composition, right? I have maintained the necessary fat, muscle. I look fine. But I want to be able to tell all the moms that it's okay to have that body change a little bit physically. Just work on making it a body which is going to be very strong with high energy.
Yeah, I think what you spoke about, do a proper rehab.
Yeah.
Whether through the Strong Mama program on the healthedit.in or a physical therapist or whatever works for you the best. But do that rehab, get back to lifting weights. Yeah. If you've never lifted weights before pregnancy, no problem. Start lifting now. Yeah. Focus on building more muscle. Yeah. I think that should be the priority.
Correct.
Just pack a lot of muscle as much as you can. So naturally, we are not going to be able to just build crazy amount of muscle. So just focus on building a lot of muscle, focus on performance.
Yeah. And I just also want to I think end this by telling every new mother that there is this newfound strength waiting to be discovered. Go discover it. Because it is true. There is something that has transformed in the body and in the brain. You need to work towards discovering it. I have.
Don't let that fade away.
Don't let
just
that
capitalize
fade.
On it.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Please.
Yeah.
Trust me, there is newfound strength.
Yep.
Right? And we're happy to help you find that strength, but it's there.
Yeah, that's what we live for, right? Help people get stronger and help ourselves get stronger.
Exactly.